Hi guys, I hope you're all well. So something I've been wanting to make for ages is a TV built into like a desk sort of thing to play D&D on. Just because then obviously you can have some big epic scale things and obviously lots of visual effects and things moving on. So that's what I'm going to be doing, but not in this video. This video is about something else to go with this. But yeah, check out the video hopefully in about 2, 3, 4 weeks time where I convert this TV into a case that I can take around and play D&D with.
But this video is all about building a large epic scale harbour I can use, well, in a sort of a campaign for D&D. And these are all the lovely bits and pieces I've just recently printed out. As you can see, yeah, it's all in parts, but it's very modular, which means I can obviously make whatever I want to. And you may have seen in some of my past videos, I'm definitely getting more into the epic sort of scale of things. And this is for 2 reasons, really. Number one, it means I can make large scale sort of cities, but obviously on a smaller size. And more importantly, they don't take up too much room when it comes to storing all the bits and pieces. And just before I get on and assemble and paint everything that I've printed so far, I just want to mention this does come from Dunemar, the Great Desert Harbour. It's a Kickstarter that's currently running. There's about a week left, guys, so I will leave a link down below so you can go out and check, obviously, more information. I will say that all files are FTM optimized. They've all been printed and tested for printability. No supports required, which is pretty cool. Everything's designed at 28mm scale. So these do have, obviously, great exteriors, but also great interiors for sort of role playing. The largest parts fit onto a 21 by 21 3cm printer. And things do include pin and holes for easy alignment, which is pretty cool. So you can obviously build the thing and then take things apart, say, for playing inside. But say, you need to go and check it out there because there are hundreds and hundreds of pieces here, which is awesome. Obviously, I've only been sent a few to sort of mess about with. And that's obviously why I love doing what I do, because I do get sent stuff, well, ahead of time, which is pretty cool. As mentioned, everything is scaled for 28mm. This is obviously the joy of 3D printing. You can take it into your slicing software and then simply adjust the settings. So I am literally making this, well, 50% smaller, which is pretty cool because obviously, as I say, it means I can build a lot larger city. I don't need as much room to store it. As well as all that, obviously the printing time is going to be reduced by a lot, as well as the amount of material used to print the item off. So as you can see, those scaled down really, really well. Still loads of detail in there, which is just awesome. And I say, obviously, I've printed out quite a few bits, but there are, well, there's over 100 odd bits and pieces that go into this. And I say the fact that it is modular, meaning obviously they show some pictures of how bits can go together, but it really is up to you to mess about and, well, change how these look for whatever sort of scenario it is that you're sort of coming up with. I say I love the look of this, very, very sort of Moroccan feel. I guess that's because it does sort of say it is set as a desert harbour, which is pretty cool. So obviously you can see the pins there, but for my video, I wanted to sort of make it easy on myself when it comes to painting. So I'm kind of cheating because I'm going to glue it all together. So I haven't got to do any of the interiors. But obviously when I come to make this as a full sort of city, yeah, I would leave everything sort of unglued, just so, well, for storage easier. And again, each adventure can then look different because you can, well, assemble everything sort of differently. But I say, using those pins and holes is really good because obviously things do locate really, really well. And I say it goes together. This is where, again, I am a big kid, guys. I love making these kind of things because in my head, I'm already making up little stories of what's kind of going on. And yeah, I think I was thinking about Jason and the Argonauts when I was kind of building all this together. Because it does seem set sort of Moroccan sort of feel to it. Apologies, the camera keeps shaking. That's because obviously, because this is quite large, it takes up a lot of my desk. I have to have my camera further away from the desk, which means it's nearer me. So every time I try and peer over my camera or to the side of my camera to kind of see what I'm doing, yeah, I give it a little nudge rather with my head or my shoulder. So yeah, again, honestly, there are absolutely tons of different pieces to this. It really can go together exactly how you want. So there's a kind of like a front wall to the defense. But obviously, if you can have a defense, you need, well, an attacker. And that's exactly where this boat comes in. It's a pretty cool boat, this, again, modular. So you can obviously play on the interiors of this boat. As I say, everything is scaled down 50%. I don't know what quite scale that makes it. If it was 28 millimeters before, but yeah, this boat, it's definitely obviously a siege kind of boat. It's got a ramp that comes down. It's almost got a bit of a battering ram there at the bottom, which obviously means then it can come along to the outer defences, bosh, straight into the gate. Ramp comes down, and everyone sort of trundles off. Again, I'm sort of in my head. I'm playing out scenarios even when I'm sort of just building this. So painting, yeah, I'm going to keep it nice and simple. Normally, I would prime in matte black and then do dry brush and all the rest. But I'm only going to use a few colours for this. So good old thing with the Colour Forge primers, they do different colours. So I'm going to use obviously the brown for the boat and this kind of yellow for the buildings. I say in my head, this is set in Morocco somewhere, and for some reason I'm just thinking sort of yellowish kind of buildings. So there we go. I've glued the boat together as well, again, just to make things easier for myself. But obviously everything looks far too clean. This does seem to look a lot more vibrant in yellow on screen. It's a bit duller than this. But yeah, it's looking very yellow there. But obviously you will see that I do dull that down by a lot. And so I'm going to keep it very simple, the painting of this. So I'm just going to go around, do some of the brickwork here at the bottom. I'm going to do that all grey. But for the main part, I am going to leave this pretty much the colour it is. I've gone around, obviously painted a few bits that were, well, look like they're going to be wood. So they are painted, well, funny enough, brown, because that's kind of the wood colour. And you'll see me use this recently as well, Green Stuff Well patinas. So I'm using the filthy dirt and moss, just because, well, if you watch any of my videos, I don't like things looking nice and clean, especially when it comes to terrain. I do like my terrain to look very weathered, beaten, like it's been there for well, hundreds of years. So this is going to have no exception. And again, this is very nice and quick. So if you are building a large scale city and there's loads of it, obviously we're all different here. So by all means, spend hours and hours, weeks, whatever, painting something. But for me, I am more about the having fun, getting it done, and then playing with it, basically. So that's why I am going for the nice, fast, quick option to sort of, well, to dirty the thing down. And I say this filthy dirt, yeah, that's definitely going to do that job. This is where you need to trust the process, because I know this looks like an absolute dog's dinner, but if you'd seen the video of me using the patinas, you'll know what's coming up next. I did the same again, obviously with the boat, as you can see there. Yeah, it looks a mess. So what you need to do is get yourself a damp cloth. I like to use a wet wipe just because I have hundreds of these around. Because well, ever since having kids, I've always had wet wipes in the house, and these are just great for cleaning down surfaces and all the rest. And then it is a case of going over everything. So this patina paint, like Green Stuff World, it does react to, well, water. So when you are finished, you will need to sort of seal it in. But obviously it does reactivate with water, which is great, because then even a wet wipe going over the top will reactivate it and you can wipe it away, which is exactly what I'm doing here. So basically all it's going to do now is it's going to stay in the nooks and crannies and the areas that I can't get to. So nice flat areas are going to obviously be cleaner. But all those sort of say nooks and crannies, inner corners, they're going to remain dirty, which is really good, because that's obviously where any soot, dirt would sort of like build up with the old wind and all the rest of it. And yeah, it's a case of going around and just keep doing this. Obviously, you get to a stage where you sort of think it looks okay, you can stop, let the stuff dry, and then if you still think you need to take more off, well, then you just take more off. But say you will need to sort of varnish it at the very end just to seal it in. Otherwise, if you had wet fingers, yeah, you'd reactivate it. I'm not sure how long it lasts before it reactivates. As in, will it fully cure or dry after a week? I have no idea. But yeah, so you would need to varnish it afterwards. And there we go. I'm kind of pleased with how this is. Yeah, it's definitely looking very aged, worn, yeah, beaten, battered, and all the rest of it. So that's pretty cool. And then obviously doing the same thing with the boat. Yeah, exactly the same thing. Going over with the wet wipe just to sort of remove the excess or the bits that I don't want. And yeah, leaving everything in between the nooks and crannies. Good old nooks and crannies. Yeah, I've got a lot to be thankful for those. And there we go, putting them on, well, what hopefully will be my my TV board. I'm not sure what these are called, but yeah, I'm looking forward to building that. But as you can see, yeah, obviously this is a 43-inch TV I'm going to be using, so you can build a nice large scenario on there. Especially say getting the sort of the waves and the sea underneath really does make it feel so much more immersive. And honestly, I can't wait. I've been wanting to make one of these TV board things for quite some time. It's only recently that I've just upgraded my TV and got a bit of a bigger one. So yeah, this one's kind of like a spare TV, so that's why it's going to be put to good use. And yeah, I can't wait. So guys, check out the links down below to Dunemar, the Great Desert Harbour. As I say, there are so many bits and pieces with this. You really could make an absolute huge big town city with these. And I say, for me, I do love epic scale, being able to get so much more in a smaller space, and knowing that it's going to be easy to store all these smaller bits, well, when they're not needed. So yeah, guys, absolutely love all this. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, leave comments, all that fun stuff. Big thank you and shout out to my lovely patrons for obviously who help support the channel. And yeah, guys, come back and see when this this TV is turned into a big gaming board. I can't wait. Okay, guys, you take care. Bye for now.